Live. Hey.
Hi everybody, welcome. I bet you're wondering who these people are that are with us today.
And where we are.
Yes, and where we are, which we're super excited to share with you guys. So I'm gonna let Ryan introduce, but I'm gonna say this. You have to, can we see the buffalo head? I wanna show them the buffalo head.
Yes. Hi, Karen.
Okay,
Oh,
look,
yeah,
you
at
guys,
the
you
buffalo
can see
head.
the buffalo head, and at the end we'll tell you how that got there. So that was my number one question when we went to this amazing room, right? So stay tuned. We'll make sure we tell you guys about that buffalo at the end. But we're so excited to introduce you guys to our friends today. So I'm gonna let Ryan do that.
Yes, super excited. So Blair and I flew into Boston on a family trip and had to make the drive out here to meet with this amazing power couple. I have known Brian for 6 years now, and it's just been amazing for my life. He's a coach, mentor, helps me on every single level. It's just been such a pleasure to get to know him. And I've always heard in this undercurrent and these stories about Janet. And so I was like, I have to meet this amazing, incredible woman. Because just to hear the way Brian talks about her, you can hear the love, the admiration, and the respect when he just even mentions her name. When we go through his calendar, she's always a top priority. So today we are here with Brian Moses and Janet Moses.
Hi. In their gorgeous home.
Amazing. Where are we?
New Hampshire.
We're in
Hollis.
I know the state. We're in Hollis. I think we did like 3 different state changes on the way.
Felt like it.
Because on the map, it's like welcome to New Hampshire. I was like, I thought I was in New Hampshire. Right?
In Massachusetts and back in New Hampshire.
So anyway, so we're here today to just, they've been gracious to invite us into their home. And we're just going to go through some questions on how they do life together, how they win at marriage. And so I think we're just going to start with...
Well, hold on one second. You guys are going to enjoy this because I jump in a lot. But
Do it, baby.
I can't help it.
Do
But
it.
so remember, this is part of our series that we're excited to show you guys weekly, which is called The Incredible Woman Beside the Man. Right? And I love that we name it this because honestly, in a marriage, it takes 2 equal partners that are working together to make it successful, right? So there's no one behind the other, right, women? I know you get it. So
and men too.
And men, but quite often you hear about like the woman behind the man, which I think is such garbage because the reality is that it takes 2 equal people to make something work, right?
Yes.
So that's why we're excited to have not only Brian on here, but Janet, and you guys are actually going to hear a lot from Janet today as well. And by the way, give her some love because how absolutely adorable does she look?
Yes.
She did not even know that she was going to
Just
be on
roll out
camera.
of bed like this.
And
Brian
I was like,
held that
you
back.
look so cute, right?
Right?
So cute. So she's probably super annoyed that I just did that to her right now, but she looks so great. So you guys give her some love. We're excited to have them share with you guys
Absolutely.
today. And I'm going to let Ryan start off with some questions. We're just going to hammer in with questions. So if you guys have some questions, put them below. We'll make sure we ask them.
Yep, absolutely. So let's just start with how long you've been married.
23 years.
23 years. And how long have you known each other?
I feel like we should hop out of it, right? We'll just be like the interviews because you guys are so cute.
So I think 25, because we were engaged for a year, and we dated.
So you dated a year. And speaking of dating, how did that first date go?
So we met on a blind date, and we didn't like each other.
She was 2 hours late.
Whoa.
I don't think it was that late.
I was pretty pissed.
I feel like it wasn't that late, but
I felt disrespected. I felt like I was the third wheel with the other couple. I was pretty angry.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a double date.
It was a double date, blind date.
Yeah.
Are you guys still friends with that couple?
No,
Yeah,
not really. I
we
mean, not
lost
that we're
touch
not
over the
friends, but
years,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So 2 hours, is that one of your pet peeves, is punctuality?
That's my pet peeve.
2 hours is a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's my pet peeve.
we were at a Chinese restaurant. She was gonna come, and then she was 2 hours late, and I was really annoyed. And I started asking questions, and I felt like she had just gotten out of a relationship, and I think her heart was still in it.
100%.
And I told her,
Yeah.
I coached
It
her.
definitely was.
I go, you need to get over it, right? Like that ship sailed, and she didn't like my forwardness.
Yeah, okay, hold on. Ladies out there, how many of you would have liked somebody to say that, right? Or actually, I mean, I have felt that about other people before, wanted to say, like, that ship has sailed, like, get over it, right?
Right.
Yeah, people don't do well with that.
No. But I didn't care because she was 2 hours late and I was ticked.
You guys will be good.
Okay.
My mom
So
just
the
heard.
next day I called, it's a small world, I called my friend who was her ex. And he goes, she's amazing. She's incredible. He said, you need to go back out with her. She's really a special person. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Friday night, I had nothing going on. I called her. I said, do you want to go out? She's like, no. That was a horrible day.
That's true.
So we ended up agreeing to meet for coffee or lunch or something. And I got to see how special she really was.
Awesome. I mean, that's fantastic. And look where you are now,
Right.
right? 25 years later,
Yeah.
actually. So I'm just curious because we have a great proposal story, but people love to hear about the proposal. So if you would mind sharing what the proposal.
So it's not like it's a pretty beautiful proposal, but so.
Well, it worked.
That hurts my
It
feelings.
did. No, I wasn't being nice. No. So
Wow.
For a zinger.
we were going to Normandy, France, because Brian's dad was in D-Day, and we went to London first. So we were vacationing in London. It was New Year's Eve, and we had taken a nap, which neither of us do well with naps. So I was tired, and he's like, "Get up, we have to. We're going out to dinner." I'm like, and we were going to France the next day. So I'm like, let's just go back to bed. Like, we're tired. And anyway, long and the short of it is, I go in to get ready, and he is calling in, like, are you ready? Are you ready? And I was not being nice. And I said, no, I'm not ready. Then he's like, it's okay. And so I opened the door, and I'm like, why are you being so nice? Like, I'm not being nice.
Extra nice.
He was being extra nice. So anyways, I come out, we're ready to go for New Year's, and he got on one knee.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And you said yes.
Of course.
I love it. Yeah.
There's a funnier
Yes.
story to that, though. I bought the ring from a jeweler in our hometown. Sweet lady, she operates out of her house. And I mean, if anyone's ever priced out engagement rings, they're not inexpensive. So I had a heart attack. And back in the time, I didn't have much money. So she let me put it on layaway, and I'd go up every time I had a few extra $100 and I'd put it down on the ring. And she'd never give me a receipt, and I was actually thinking she was stealing my money. You know, never knowing if I'm ever going to get the ring. Finally, I paid it off, and then we're traveling to Europe, and you know the bellmen at the hotel are asking, can I take your luggage? And I'm like, no,
Oh,
don't
right.
take the luggage. And she's like, what's the matter? Yeah, take the luggage. No, don't take the luggage.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a funny. You had to be there moment, but
Yeah.
Well, I feel like probably 90% of proposals start with somebody acting extremely awkward and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's what
He
sets
didn't
off
want to
the
let
weird vibe.
his bag go, and I thought,
Yes.
you clearly don't travel that much. Like,
Right.
let the guy take your bag.
It makes the woman
Yeah.
like almost in this uncomfortable state. So I feel like 90% of the engagement
Good
stories I
coaching.
hear, right? They start with a woman saying like, I was irritated that night, or he was annoying me, or I was frustrated, or I felt like he was keeping a secret from me, right?
Yeah.
And it's like so much, I think, built up energy
Right.
in the male for that moment. It makes it a little awkward.
it was
Yeah.
awkward.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally wasn't expecting it.
So just in terms, so I know Brian, I'm going to get back into
Yeah.
what I'm talking
I know it's weird when you're
That's
talking
it.
to not
That's
be
it.
here.
So I know just Brian from the coaching, business, financial side. Can you share what's the home life like? Like, how do you look at Brian? Super achiever, goal driven, everything is, go, 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 or?
No, I don't really look at him that way. Like, that's his business. That's my favorite part of him, though. But no, I don't look at him that way. Like, he's just Brian to me.
Right.
Like, he's just my friend, but I don't look at him like he does. Every once in a while, get in a very focus-driven way.
I can't
And
imagine that. I can't
sometimes, like,
imagine.
it can be irritating because he's just so, But no, I don't look at him I don't look at him like he's like an overachiever or anything. That's just all I know.
Because you know the whole side of him.
She
Right?
keeps
Yes.
me humble.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So I'm going to share with you guys what we call that in our house. We call that beast mode in our house.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like when I'm in beast mode, I'm like, Ryan, I'm going to be in beast mode, so just be warned. Like, for the
So
next
he
24
calls
hours.
it warrior. He's
Oh,
like, I'm
I
being
love
a
that.
warrior.
Okay, good.
So I'm like, all right, good.
Then you
well,
know.
you go be you. 'cause-
Warriors got to get shit done.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So I'm
Yes.
going into it.
Yeah.
And so for
And I
Blair,
can't be nice during that time.
and
No.
I can't.
can you? So is there a change in the tone?
No,
Because-
I just know because I've
Oh,
known him
okay.
for so like he's very.
Yeah.
It's like he's in the car by himself and he's focused.
Okay.
So I usually just let him.
That's awesome because
Yeah.
her office is at home, and when she'll walk out and I'll ask her something, I'll hear a very specific tone from her.
Yeah.
And when I know the tone and she's in
Yeah.
beast mode, I'm just
Yeah.
whatever and go. But that's when the power happens, right? That's when the magic
Right.
happens, and that's what
Right.
makes you guys
Good partners.
Absolutely. So organizational, calendar driven. Brian has shared his calendar. Some of you, if you remember back, we did a thing called Big Rocks about how it's awesome to be super successful in business and financial and money, but it is not the most important thing. Your marriage is more important. And Brian taught me when you schedule those important things first, those are your non-negotiables. It's given me goosebumps talking about it because it was actually life-changing for Blair and I to know that, boom, that date night is happening no matter what. I've seen, Brian taught me that. So when you're putting your marriage first and both still living your lives, how does his organization that I've learned from him combine with yours? Or are you the same type of calendar planner?
We're definitely both planners, but he's like way better at it. He's like in Google, and I'm an old school planner.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I like that too.
I just
I
like
like
to write
pencil
it down. Me too.
and a
Like I
planner.
have a planner, and it's if I lost it, I would die.
Yeah.
But
That's why
he's been
Google.
he's been trying to get me to do the Google thing. But anyways, communication is our biggest. I feel like that's the key to everything for us, at least.
Right.
Is we're big communicators
So do you,
about
guys,
everything.
do you guys have a together calendar, or do you keep your
Yeah.
calendars separate?
No, we're separate.
And then
Yeah.
is there a specific time where you coordinate your calendars? Like how do you keep it so that you're not just two ships passing in the night, right?
Communication, and we talk to each other.
For me, it's my schedule. So I calendar 4 reminders quarterly, every year, and it's magical moments with Janet and with the kids. And it's a reminder. It's just like a trigger. Oh shit, I gotta do something special for Janet. Or I gotta do something, not birthday, not Christmas, just out of the blue. And it doesn't have to be expensive. Like last weekend we went to Martha's Vineyard as a family. I'm like, we have nothing going on Sunday. It'd be nice to just relax at the house, but I want to do something intentional and purposeful with the family. We had an amazing day. It was
Yeah,
incredible.
that's fine.
That's awesome.
Sometimes when you're home, it's hard to honestly relax. And it's hard to keep the kids home
Yeah.
and focused on the family.
Yeah. And it's different.
So I use my calendar, weekly reminders for date night. The kids have their very busy schedules, so I'm trying to get her on Google because my oldest and I are on the same calendar. So if there's an event, I just tag him in that event, and now it's on his calendar, it's on mine. I want to get it on Janet's versus her having to copy it. But
Yeah.
whatever works.
But it works.
But
Copying works.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it totally works. And so I'm just curious, Jan, how does it make you feel knowing that Brian puts that on the calendar? That's it. That's the question.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's good. That's all that I know. Is just because we always give priority to each other.
Right.
But it doesn't. That's just normal for us. I think if it didn't happen, that would be more abnormal. But I definitely feel if we don't have something planned, I don't know. We're just big communicators. That's important to me.
Yeah, if I would
That's
add,
not-
it's for me, it's about quality over quantity.
Yeah.
You know, our lives are very busy. Business, she's a full-time mom. We've got very active kids. She volunteers in the community. It's very easy for life to get away from you. And, you know, when I'm working, I'm working. When I'm present in whatever it is that I'm
I
doing.
love that.
Yeah.
So quality time over quantity. There's a lot of people that are with their kids and their spouses 24/7, and they're not very happy. or very fulfilled.
Or they're not 100% there.
So we're more
Yeah.
intentional and purposeful,
Yeah.
I think, and it works.
I love that. I love that. So if I were to say, you guys win at marriage, what does that look like to you? Like, you've mentioned the word communication.
That's
a
our
lot.
biggest thing, at least for me. I mean, I don't believe in the whole don't go to bed upset or mad. Sometimes it's better to just let it, just put it aside and then talk about it the next day. I don't know, I just feel like communicating is our biggest thing. I will tell him if I'm upset with him, and he will do the same, or if we're happy with something, but more so if something bothers me, and I will pull it out and tell him exactly what he said, exactly, like even the littlest things. He's moved on for the day. I can't remember, I think we just did that this weekend. I don't even remember what it was. We had moved on, and I said, oh, by the way, yeah, I didn't like that little comment you made at dinner or whatever. He's like, what comment? Yeah.
Why do we have to go back there?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But
But
it's
she wants to let
important
me
to
know
me.
so I don't
yeah, it's
make
important
that
to me
mistake
to
again.
tell him
And I
that
appreciate it.
hurt or that I didn't like that. Don't do that again, because that's not okay with me.
Right.
So, and I'm a big communicator with everybody in my life, not just that's just, I think, important to tell people how you feel. If you're upset, holding it in is worse.
I
to
agree.
me.
Poison, right?
It is. I agree.
Toxic.
Yeah.
I don't want to skip over what you said, Brian, is that you appreciate that she told you. Because what we've seen, and even in our relationship a little bit, is when you do hold it in, then it becomes a bigger issue down the road, unrelated to the small thing.
Right.
So
Then you're going to stack it onto something else.
stack it up, and you're like, wait a minute, that wasn't that big of a deal?
Yeah.
Like, what was the real issue?
Right.
Oh yeah,
Right.
2.5 weeks ago you said
Right.
this sly comment at dinner, and I'm like, I did what?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's awesome. So communication. So if you don't mind, share an obstacle or a challenge that in the last 23 years, something that has been difficult for the two of you that you've overcome, worked through together.
Probably when you got in the accident, right? Maybe.
Go ahead.
So he got his foot run over, and he was making a lot of money, and we were doing great. And he worked for his best friend. That, more importantly, over making money, that the way that people treat you when things aren't always going great. You really know who your friends are when things aren't 100% in your life. And making money or not being able to move around or play golf or all the other things. But I think those things make you stronger.
Right.
And we did great. It was fine.
When you're going through the shitstorm, it's not fun.
Yeah.
You don't know what's on the other side of it. But when you get on the other side of it, you're kind of grateful that there's good that came out of getting hit by a car.
Yeah.
Like she said, you get to know who really cares about you, who loves you, who's there for you.
And those are the people that really matter.
And that's a blessing, right? Because
Yeah.
there's no fraudulence. People aren't looking for something in return. They're just genuinely there for you.
Right.
And then you grow because you have to. You have to get through these adversities, and when you come out stronger and better on the other side, it's pretty good. But when you're going through it, it's tough. So now I've conditioned myself that when I'm going through it, I'm like, all right, I eat problems for breakfast, right? Like, this is a big problem, and I know I'm going to be better on the other side of it. So, not always easy, but I try to have that focus.
Yeah.
But I think also hearing how you were there to support him during that hard time, right? Because there's probably a lot of people watching right now
Right.
who are going through their spouse or a family member who is sick or not doing well, and seeing how you're there for each other during that time.
Right. I
And it
think
helps
that's
you
the
see
most
each other.
important. Yeah. Like when the other person isn't strong, you kind of have to fill that in. It's like a friend. So you have to look at it like little boxes. Like, yes, he's my husband, but he's also my friend. And that's what I do. That's what you should do for your friend. Like, when he's not feeling strong, okay, that's my turn. So.
Yeah, and to your point, Blair, it's so easy to give up and quit. And there were many times during that time I wanted to quit and just say, fuck it,
Right.
screw it, right? Forgive me.
It's all right.
But she wouldn't let me quit. And that's a pretty amazing human being
Right.
who sees the potential that you have. And we wouldn't be where we are today or met the new friends that have come into our life, or you guys, had she let me quit.
Right.
So I'm very grateful for that.
It's a great gift.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's amazing.
And I can't let you guys go without asking you this question. So we had the pleasure of, like, we've been talking with them for like the last hour, right? Picking their brain.
Yeah.
Because when you get to be around people who are where you want to be in life, and obviously have the family that you want, where you want your kids to be, and life to be, and business to be, you want to pick their brain as much as possible, right? That's what we've learned. So one of the things that you guys shared was how you guys set a time every year to go away, just the two of you, and why that's important for your kids to see. So please share that.
So go ahead, you can. I've been talking.
We like hearing you talk.
Yes.
So I read in a book, I look up to people who have successful lives and successful marriages and relationships. And I'm far from perfect. I mean, I'm very blessed that she's tolerated my antics over the years, but I'm very human and I make lots of mistakes and I'm far from perfect. But I had read that it's important for couples to show their children how important their relationship is. So every year, Janet and I do a purposeful, intentional vacation that's just for us. And we leave the kids behind. And anyone who knows us knows we're very close with our children and we like to include them. And we do a lot of great things with them as well. But every year we do something that's just her and I. So, we did a trip to Ireland, which was absolutely amazing. And, we get on the plane and I can't believe the kids aren't coming.
Yeah, we missed
But
them.
it's intentional,
Yeah.
right? And even when they were born, we would have date night without the kids so that they can see an example of what two people who really love and care about each other,
Right.
how they treat each other and what they do. So, I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely. So in a few years, when they're gone, you don't look at each other and go, "Oh, hey, who are you?"
Who are you?
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, that's true.
Right. So
No.
important. Do you have anything else?
Yep, just a couple. So, I'm gonna go back in here.
Okay.
So come back in here. So, fast forward to 2025. Okay, so it's 2019 right now. So I know Brian has a picture in his mind of what 2025 looks like. Is that something that the two of you have shared together, or like, so what is a day in the life or a month in the life look like when now Hayden's going to school? I think Peyton would have graduated,
Yeah.
and it's just the two of you now. Do you have a picture of that?
I feel like we kind of talk about it a lot. Like, we were at a baseball game the other night, and I'm like, hey, we looked at a house that was too small for us before we moved here. I'm like, let's go drive by that house because that's a good downsized house for us, right?
Yep.
So, and then we'll talk about like driving and an RV and going places or
Travel.
yeah.
Oh, good. Come see us in Florida.
Yes.
Drive that RV all the way down
Yeah.
to Florida.
So, I mean, we've talked about it, but I don't think there's anything that we have set. We definitely want to be around our kids. So, if no matter where they are, I think they're important to us.
Yeah.
Our family is very important. So, we want to be around them. Yeah.
Brian, what does your 2025 look like?
So I'm very much a dreamer, and I've mapped out, what my financial goals are, what my career, where I'll be career-wise, the ages of my kids, what their life will be doing, which kind of gets me thinking about, will I be going to football games? Will I be paying for college? What do I need in my life at that point? Philanthropically, I want to give back to charitable organizations and causes that are near and dear to my heart. My father was a World War II veteran, as Janet had mentioned, so the wounded warriors are very important to me, and I have a goal to contribute $1 million to the Wounded Warriors.
I love
So
that.
that's to give away $1 million, you have to make a lot of money.
Mhm.
So that's driving me, and I love to travel and experience life, and want to make sure that my kids don't have to want for anything.
Mm.
So yeah, and I think even beyond 5 or 6 years, like 20 years from now, what does life look like? But we're the writers and the directors and the creators of our own
That's
life,
it.
and you can make anything happen. It just has to first originate in your mind's eye. So yeah, I'm much more goal oriented than like I'll put a pen to paper. I don't know that you do that.
No, not always. In my head, I sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thought's still there. You're still thinking ahead, and you're still
I
together
feel like
and
we
thriving.
always do,
And
yeah.
And I share mine with her. I'm very,
I love that.
and she's like, yeah, I'd love to do that. Or no, I don't, I want to get my pilot's license. Why would you want to do that? Fly in a tin box.
Right.
Because it's
I'm
cool.
with you on that one.
Or scuba
Yeah.
diving.
Jump out of a plane.
So I have personal goals
Yeah.
that I want to tick off in 5 or 6 years that she has no interest in, and that's great. But she's very supportive of me. Like, one of my goals was to ride a Harley Davidson by Mount Rushmore.
Wow.
Just cruise through South Dakota and look up, and I did that a couple of years ago, went out there with 9 guys, and she was, go do it. That's your dream. Have fun.
Yeah. I don't mind, and I don't want to put a damper on anything that he wants to do. He and Hayden scuba dive. I don't want to do that, but it's good for you. I'm glad. I want to see all the pictures, but I don't want to do that.
I'm right with you on that one.
Absolutely.
No.
That's awesome. Okay, so
Before the buffalo.
oh, you knew I was going to the buffalo.
I know you can't wait to
I
get to
can't
the
wait.
buffalo. Most important piece of advice you would like to give to, let's say, people just getting married or within the first 5 years? What's the number, 1 or 2 things that you just think is absolutely vital to winning in marriage?
I'll be patient, and for me, you always have to put the other person first.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah. And sometimes that's hard,
Very hard.
but you do. Yeah. If you always put the other person first, that's most important. Yeah. And be patient. Communicate. I guess that's 3 things, not 1.
Do as many as you want, Janet. It's all words of wisdom. I love it. Absolutely.
Go ahead, honey. What do you think?
I think scheduling time for each other is important, because life can really get in the way, and you can get busy, and weeks, months, years go by, and you haven't done anything special together. So scheduling is really important. And then I need to do a better job of this, but to be romantic and attentive. When we were dating, I used to do all these great little sweet things, and leave notes where she would find them. And 23 years later, you get, familiarity breeds contempt, right? You take things for granted. So to not take things for granted, and be sweet and do things that light up your partner
Right.
intentionally.
Well, actually, now that you say that, I'm going to pop in here really quick.
Do it.
So, obviously, we need to get Brian more involved in marriage movement, right, guys? Because right now, there's a 21-day challenge that basically every single day is making sure that you're showing your partner that you're thinking about them or something about them. It's really cool. And I know that Janet's love language is gifts. So I'm challenging you.
Right.
I'm
We're gonna find out
challenging
what
you in the
day it
next
is.
24 hours to make sure that you get her a gift and send it to her, but it doesn't have to get here this week. It could just end up somewhere in the next month, right?
I like
But
that.
yeah,
What do you give
Do
the
you
woman
accept?
who has everything?
get the woman that has everything. That's a really great question. I'll send you some ideas. I have some really great ideas.
She's very good at this. You'll love it, Janet. I promise.
All right, so let's tell everybody about the buffalo. Let me see if I can get, there it is. Okay, you guys tell them how you guys got this buffalo, because I think this actually shows how awesome your marriage is, that you saw it, you wanted it, and you guys found it. So tell them a little bit about that.
So we were at a restaurant in a bar while our kids were at a karate event across the street. And we're just having a drink, waiting for the karate thing to get over. And we were sitting there, and there was a buffalo, what was the name of the place? I don't remember.
It was like a
Longhorn
Ruth
or
Chris,
something. I don't. Yeah.
It was a steakhouse.
Yeah, it was
Might
a
have been
steakhouse.
Longhorn. I don't remember.
So I said, "Oh, isn't that so cool? I love it." And he starts Googling it. All right, I found one.
Aw, I think that's so cool.
Me too.
So
That's the kind of gift you get a woman who has everything. That's exactly the kind of gift. All right. Well, awesome. Thanks you guys so much for being in this with us. We really appreciate it. And we will drop Brian Moses' link below in the comments as well in case you guys want to find him. And we're so glad that you guys were able to get on here today and share with everybody. I know I learned a lot just by listening to you guys. So we really appreciate it. All right, guys, watch for our next Woman Beside the Man, the incredible
Incredible woman
beside the man.
I know.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.